Now, last month at the Nintendo Direct show, we finally went on and got some gameplay on Contra Operation Galuga. This is actually a reimagining of the classic high-speed run-and-gun shooter with similar designs and formula. I mean, WayForward and Konami are actually working together to make this possible, delivering a 2.5-dimensional reimagining of the original Contra arcade games whilst retaining the series' traditional co-op run-and-gun action. Take a look. Moving on at number 2, it's the old Iron Meat. This is a post-apocalyptic run-and-gun shooter, something quite a bit inspired by the Contra series like the previous one and some of 90s pixel art gems in terms of premise. However, you're in Russia and there's some sort of an alien invasion in the midst of an experiment that's gone wrong at the same time, or maybe they're connected. The game is available through a demo on Steam and releasing fully soon, we hear.
Fine soldiers of the Leviathan, I address you on this day not as a captain of the ship, but as a proud father and a resident of the only place we call home.
Now, Signai, on the other hand, from a little over last year, just got itself a new update trailer, more gameplay, and a release window of early to mid 2024. We're not sure here, but it's supposedly releasing for PCs and the next generation of consoles only around June next year. Signai, all guns blazing here, is by Konami itself, touted as a spaceship shmup that harkens back to the classic days of arcade shooting, whilst introducing a breathtaking modern futuristic presentation. Coming as the first legit work of its developers at number 4, from a couple of months ago we have Shadows of Steel Moons. This is a side-scroller shmup platform to the 3D, technically an action platformer, or as it's described by developers, with dark techno-fantasy style aesthetics. A game about some knights on a distant future version of Earth, just like Contra again, where you're in to defeat mechanical monsters and aliens on Earth. This game's coming to PCs only, possibly in about a few months. Leftover, the publishers, just released another new trailer on Azora the Striker, in which case you missed out on entirely as an arcade-style 3D shmup which has been a long time coming. The good news over here is the game is now coming over on Steam through a demo later on in the month and fully possibly for consoles as well early to mid next year. Moving on, we have Truxton Extreme on its way to the PlayStation 5 exclusively. It's actually the only game in the list doing so. Some of you might even remember this arcade shooter from the Tokyo Game Show earlier in the year, and that it's one hell of a bullet hell shooter based off of the same developers of the 1988 shmup arcade game Truxton. And yes, in case you're wondering, this even had an anime that came out about a dozen years ago with the same name. Been in the making for almost 2 years now. Still Mantis announced Valfaris' sequel over here going by Mecha Thurian. I'm sure you've seen a glimpse of it earlier in the year, and that is coming over to Switch, PCs and all consoles in the final quarter of the year. Now that release window has been changed. It could go up to actually late 2024, and as for the game itself, Mecha Thurian over here will basically get rid of the action platformer formula and into a side-scrolling shmup, new direction. So yeah, while the original was a 2D platformer, this one comes in a rather big shift in both graphics and gameplay.
Macross シリーズから待望の完全新作ゲーム登場。突如同時多発した超時空間フォールドに巻き込まれたバトル7。
Moving on, we have Macross Shooting in Sight. I don't know what this is, but the game will now launch in its physical edition across PCs, Switch, and the PlayStation consoles only on January 25 next year, instead of later on in the year. We got that with a new trailer. I'm not familiar with the Macross, but apparently this one also follows the story of a classic anime with the same name, Macross, followed by Do You Remember Love? Anyway, take a look.
歌姫と通信がつながり、戦局が優位になる効果が発動。さらにライバルやエースパイロットと競い合う模擬戦やランキング1位のプレイを間近で体感できるリプレイを実装。銀河一のバルキリーパイロットを目指せ。歌の力で君のその腕で銀河の平和を守れ。新感覚スクロールシューティングゲームマクロスシューティングインサイト2024年。
It's been a while since we heard, but Inning Games went on and finally revealed the new game they have been making here called Air Twister. Another new rail shooter which was actually released on the Apple Arcades last year. It will now be coming to basically on all gaming platforms on November 10 this year, with 12 different stages and a bunch of different modes to play through as well. Still Empire Chronicles, on the other hand, is a narrative shmup, something you see more not than often, and actually following the 3 Still Empire games from the Sega Mega Drive and a couple of other games down the line. This one's coming to PCs and Switch as a first early to mid next year, delivering one of the most classic, coolest, side-scrolling steampunk shooters on the platform, apparently. Due out November 9 this year, we've got Devil Engine, the Complete Edition. This one over here is the work of a couple of classic developers, bringing their side-scrolling shoot-'em-up base game, Devil Ignition, and the expansion Devil Engine Ignition. This game was first released on PCs over 4 years ago and now coming back to other consoles, including Switch, worldwide on the same day. Coming after 6 years of wait, or you could say development, but I doubt that, Run a Deck is now following its Bomber Crew game with a new one over here called Badlands Crew. The new game here promises a lot of building and operating in kind of Mad Max style environments with more challenging tactical battles and a lot of vehicle customization and building. This game's coming to PCs only early to mid next year. Number 13, we have the famous classic publishers Taito's Crazy Arcade Chronology that is now aiming PCs via Steam this fall. The game will now support English and Japanese language options and subtitles, letting you go through the entire Ray series of 90s arcade classic vertical scroller shooting games, along with enhanced versions of the 2 3D titles and some more. Take a look. Shinorubi, on the other hand, is currently in early access on Steam with pretty good reviews. But the folks Red Art came out with an update that their vertically scrolling shmup game is now coming to other consoles, such as Switch and both generation of PlayStation and Xbox consoles by the end of the year. And folk, if you like your bullet hell games a bit, I don't know, even psychedelic, maybe too chaotic, this one's probably what you'd be looking for. And last but not least, one of the longest awaited bullet hell classic shooters in the making. Finally here with an update last month, we have Wind Runners. Guys, Wind Runners is actually not a Kickstarter project, as we formerly believed. It's from Ludic Studios, developers of Akane, which is one of the best cyberpunk classic games ever. Their new game over here is set to be coming to PCs and Switch only sometime later this year, and we got a new trailer for it to take a look.